Good morning, everybody. We've got a lower trade in the grain markets on Thursday. It is 5:56 a.m. Central Time as I speak here. May corn futures down 7 cents at 7.50 3/4. December corn down 2 at 6.70 1/4. May soybeans down 10 cents at 17.08 3/4. November beans down 10 at 14.98. May Chicago wheat down 9 at 10.96 3/4. May Kansas City wheat down 9 1/4 at 11.02 last trade. May Kansas City wheat down 5 at 10.84 1/4. If you guys are listening on the podcast, as always, appreciate it, guys. Leave me a rating, leave me a review if you have not already. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I think we're almost up to 4,500 subscribers. My goal is to get to 5,000, so help me out there. If you need some additional assistance from me, guys, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, check out my premium subscription service. I send my customers a ton of information every single business day. Morning email, grain marketing recommendations, weather info, subscriber-only videos. I did a subscriber-only video yesterday regarding crop insurance and grain marketing. So most of you guys have made your crop insurance decisions now, and I've had a lot of questions from customers regarding how does this play into grain marketing? Where is my crop insurance floor? How exactly does this work? I had my friend Chris Barron from AgView Solutions come on, showed us a very simple way to kind of figure this whole deal out. So if you guys are interested in that sort of content, give that premium deal a shot, guys. It's $50 a month. You can cancel it at any time. No other fee, no other obligation. U.S. farm groups are urging USDA to allow the planting of CRP acreage. 7 different U.S. agricultural lobbying groups, including the American Farm Bureau Federation and the National Grain and Feed Association, sent a letter to U.S. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack yesterday asking for flexibility in regard to 4 million acres of what they called prime farmland currently enrolled in the Conservation Reserve Program, or CRP. This was a quote. "It remains unclear whether Ukrainian farmers will be able to safely plant crops this spring. Time is of the essence. The planting window in the United States has already opened." This is a nice idea, but there's a lot of problems here. U.S. planting has already begun in the South, so it may simply be too late, first off. Secondly, I think a lot of people would argue that a good chunk of the acres enrolled in CRP are there for a reason. They're not prime fields. They're not. It's not land that a lot of farmers are interested in working. In addition to that, fertilizer prices, shortages, just shortages of inputs and high prices in general could hinder any sort of effort. And in addition to that, I think you'd see a lot of political pushback from conservation groups, and a lot of those conservation groups are on the, they're Democrats. They're on that side of the aisle, and I think this would be a difficult sell for the Biden administration. But this is floating around. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I don't know that it's likely either. Argentina's corn production estimates are declining. The Buenos Aires Grain Exchange pegged the crop at 49 million metric tons this week. The previous estimate was 51. USDA's at 53. This was a quote from the report. "As the harvest in the field progresses, yields we've seen remain below the initial expectations as a result of thermohydric stress during the month of January." I think thermohydric stress means drought. The exchange left its soybean production estimate unchanged at 42 million. USDA's at 43.5. Some of the later planted crops in Argentina may fare a little bit better. They caught some additional rains, but crop estimates for corn in particular out of Argentina declining. U.S. ethanol stocks remain high and were up again last week. EIA reported stocks at 26.148 million barrels in its weekly report. That is the highest level of ethanol stocks on record seasonally, and historically speaking, the only time we were ever higher than this was back during the spring 2020 COVID panic. Ethanol production was up on the week, 1.042 million barrels per day. That's a pretty normal-ish level of production. Ethanol production margins around the Corn Belt are break even to mostly positive. If you see a continued build in ethanol stocks, that's something that will hurt ethanol prices, which are already pretty soft relative to gasoline. That would hurt production margins. That doesn't mean that the grind has to slow. Ethanol producers will continue to grind corn even at slightly negative margins, but certainly something to keep an eye on. The U.S. and its allies will announce new sanctions on Russia today. I think some of this stuff has already come across the wires, so I may be slightly behind here. Jake Sullivan said this yesterday. Biden will join our partners in imposing further sanctions on Russia and tightening the existing sanctions to crack down on evasion and to ensure robust enforcement. The sanctions are likely to target Russian oligarchs, some additional Russian entities. Biden is also slated to announce a joint action on enhancing European energy security. An attempt to reduce European reliance on Russian natural gas will also be made. The president may also unveil some further U.S. humanitarian contributions to Ukraine. Crude oil prices remain really strong, off a little bit here this morning, but the nearby May 22 WTI contract peaked above 116 overnight and has since set back. The contract traded as low as 92.20 per barrel just last week, so we've seen a phenomenal rally here just in the last 5 or 6 trading days. Exports of crude from Russia and Kazakhstan could slow following a storm that damaged a major pipeline. There's still concerns, of course, regarding Russian sanctions just in general. U.S. crude stocks fell last week. Production was about flat. The U.S. national average gas price $4.24 yesterday, according to AAA, down a little bit from that all-time high that was posted earlier this month. We've got an export sales report this morning. Old crop sales expected corn 800 to 1.8. Soybean sales for the current marketing year expected 500 to 1.3. Wheat sales expected 100 to 600,000. Keep an eye on those new crop soybean sales also, which have been very strong. Cattle market was mostly higher yesterday. A little bit of cash at 138. We do have a cattle on feed report on Friday, so be aware of that. U.S. dollars a little bit higher. We've got the S&P up 20 points. The Dow is up 130. Bonds are off sharply and have been under a lot of pressure here. The gold's up $6. Crude oil is down 42 cents in the May WTI at 114.63 last trade now. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys Friday.